Hi everyone, it's Lisa and Luna from Don't Run with Scissors, back with another Technique Tuesday. Today is going to start a three-part series on the gelatos, and I'm a big fan of these. These are Faber Castell, and they come in all sorts of colors, and I have mine here in a actual old to-go takeout container, so they're all ready and accessible when I need them. They are a treat to play with. They're so much fun. And they come in a wide variety of colors. So let's just give these a good scoop. So you can see them in all the pinks, the purples, the blues, the greens. I have these three out, which we're going to play with today. They come in metallics, so some of them have shimmer and others don't. They do come in white and black. And this month, they just released a brand new color series. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that and to play with these. These really are a nice addition to card making, even some scrapbooking, if you like making tags or other gift projects. So these are a ton of fun to play with, and they're super easy. There is some controversy out there because Faber-Castell has two products out there, and they're called Gelatos, and they're also called gel sticks. Basically, gelatos and gel sticks are water-soluble gel pigment sticks of a creamy color. They look like lipstick. They feel like chapstick. I wouldn't recommend trying either of those, but you very well could. They come in 3-inch long plastic tubes, which are these, and they blend very well with water, and another product which we are going to get into. So the controversy between a gel stick and a gelato, the gel sticks, I guess most people think that kids play with those, and the gelatos are the adult version. So if you're going to be playing, and they're relatively interchangeable, however, some people say that the gelatos themselves are of a higher quality, and if you want your product to last longer, that you should use the gelato. So gelatos work on most surfaces: paper, canvas, fabric, chipboard, wood, and really any other porous surfaces. They are opaque, so when we start playing with the colors, you're going to see the difference in those. Some people like to prep their product with gesso, and I have done that here, and we'll get to that in a second. And also using watercolor paper, which works great, and you can use any type and variety of watercolor paper. It holds the color and is blendable again with water. So moving on, let's see what these things can do. So I'm going to stick with, since I'm going to use those in a project, let's use blue. Two blues, a light blue and a darker blue. And they all have their names, and they're on their caps. So the dark blue one is boysenberry, and the light blue one is cotton candy. And I'm just going to scribble in all four quadrants. Now this side is just a regular piece of cardstock, and I split it into four quadrants because we are going to tackle the blending of these. And then this side is treated with the Faber-Castell gesso, and on the side, I'm just going to read it to you because it's way easier. It's used to prime surfaces for watercolor or paint. It can lighten the gelato colors, which we will do in a future video. It'll make watercolors more opaque. You can use it to create white stamped images, and it covers up mistakes. So basically it's just a primer, and when you put it on here, you can see a little bit that there is a nice white sheen over here, and the paper is primed and will accept the color. So I'm going to do this top part here and the bottom. So that's with the boysenberry, and we're going to go back in with cotton candy. Okay, so now there's several ways you can blend these. And I should go back and say, when you purchase these, they do come in color combination kits. So I'm not quite sure how this kit actually came together, but maybe it had some blues in it. And they usually come 4 to a pack. And sometimes they get added in with a paintbrush, a blending tool of sorts, a brush, and sometimes a stamp. So that's a combination you may see in the store in the package when you go to purchase these. There are other, because they're trying to get this product back on the market, they are making sampler packs, and this one has the big pit brush, which these are just super fun. The artist pens, they have colored pencils, so you can play with those, and also a gelato. So there's a pack that you can get here that you can try all of their products. These markers are super fun, and hopefully one day I will own the set. So keep that in mind as you're purchasing it. They do come in the variety pack, 24 pack, 36 pack, I think. So you can get all of the colors at one time. So when these come together, they give you these extra tools to use. And this paintbrush, basically you're going to use with water, or you can paint with it, which we will show you in a minute. So I'm going to put that aside. This is a blending tool and a thicker brush. But on here, what I'm going to do is we're going to take this quadrant and we're going to start blending. This is going to be a dry blend on regular cardstock, and I have just a makeup swab. This tool would work just as well, and you can just see how they break down just by rubbing. Another tool that works to rub, guess what? Your finger. So you can go in with your finger and rub that way. So depending on what you're up to, you can use a finger, you can use a makeup swab, you can use the brush that comes with it. This had a little pink on it, so I didn't really, now you can see the color transferred. So on the gesso side now, I'm going to also do a dry blend, and I'm going to stick with my makeup pad and just blend. And the colors break down really nice. And you can see how this is actually a smoother surface that it's sticking to than that. And you can always go back in and add color to keep it consistent, or whatever your goal is. You can circle it so that the lines will essentially blend in, and then you can get the ombre effect. So that's with the gesso. This is the dry. That's not helpful when the pencil breaks dry. So now with the wet, again, you can dip your paintbrush into a water. I do have my water brush here. So with the wet, it says a little bit orange in it because I was playing with it. Wipe that off real quick. With the wet, you just go right in, and the color will start moving around. You don't need to add a lot. The color will start breaking down. And you can start dragging it all around. So the more you work with it, the more it's going to break down. You can see that that blue, the top blue, is going to blend out really well. And on the gesso side, you can see how that breaks down. A lot of people like working with the gesso. They think that it blends nicer and creamier. So I leave that decision up to you. This one looks like a big old mess, but when it dries, it's really pretty. So we'll get to that in a minute. So another option you have is painting, essentially painting with these. And in another video, probably next week, I'm going to show that with the stamped images. But what these can do is you can actually take these colors, let's do a different color completely. You can take these colors and you can scribble right on your craft mat. You can also, should you not have a craft mat, scribble right on an acrylic block. And if you add some water, it turns into a paint, and you can go in and you can paint. So either one would work. All depends on what function you want it to use. So if you stamped an image, you could go in and you could what am I trying to say? Color it in, watercolor it in, and it'll look beautiful. So one other option for blending, and this is actually what we're going to do for our project today, is let me get another piece of paper here. And I'll take my same colors. I did boysenberry and cotton candy. Again, this is just a regular piece of white cardstock. It's thicker, 110 pound maybe. I got it at Staples. And the really cool thing to use with your gelatos are baby wipes. And I did pull one out earlier. The really wet baby wipes tend to absorb more of the color, so I let this one out a little bit just so it would kind of dry out just a wee bit, because it does take the color. But look at that. Look at how it just blends. And it's just absolutely beautiful. These make incredible backgrounds, and that is the direction we're going in today for our project. So let me just give it a quick clean up here. I am going to continue to use this baby wipe, so we'll flip it over. Do not need this. So if you let this be your project and you're done with it, these usually will hold up to the test of time. It'll be okay. But if you did want to make sure it stayed there forever, you could spray a fixative on it. You could also put on a gel medium that would lock it in place, but they would stay. So just as a point of fact for that. But lately, the rage online has been doing the bokeh cards. The bokeh cards, it's a technique that is done by cameras by softening and lightening certain areas within the picture itself. So I wanted to make a quick birthday card for someone, and I wanted to use the bokeh method. And when you look at them online, people use inks. They're using actual ink pads or re-inkers or anything like that. And I said, how come or how could you use Gelatos for this method? And I figured out a way. So what I want to do is I'm going to pick my 3 Gelatos. I'm going to stick, since it is a birthday, I picked cotton candy birthday colors. And I am going to just basically scribble all over my little piece of paper. This is a 4x6 piece of paper. And essentially I'm making a background with these. These are just so much fun. Again, you could smudge these in with your finger. You could do the dry method. My favorite method really is playing with the baby wipes. I think it really just gives a nice smooth finish. These things last forever. I've never worn out a gelato yet. And so now I'm going to take my baby wipe. I've scribbled all over my paper. Again, this is a drier baby wipe. And I'm just going to work on swirling around. You can go back in and add color where you need it. If you're using a thinner piece of cardstock, you may consider taping it down, keeping it to the surface, because depending on how much water or how much baby stuff is in here, you could warp your paper. You could wear through it if you burnish or rub too hard. I'm going to add some more purple in here. I'm going to take some of the shimmer. This actually, maybe you can see it at home. Yeah, it's a little shimmery. I'm going to add some sparkle in. So rub these in. But you don't want your paper to warp. You do want it to be able to adhere to something after and stay flat. See some of the scribbles. And the bokeh method is now you're going to be adding circles everywhere, white circles. Most people use a white craft ink. So I have the Whisper White Stampin' Up. And with the bokeh, you use circles. So basically what I did is I took one of those die-cut plastic things, that the sleeves that you purchase from the store, and I actually, if you can see this here, I cut little holes in it all around, and I'm going to use that as my stencil for the varying shapes of circles. And I have my ink pad, and I have a dauber here, which is strictly for my white craft ink. And all you do to do the bokeh method is to pick the ink up, and you do circles all over the front part of your card. Some lighter, some darker. And with the gelatos, you don't have to worry about your cardstock drying or heat drying things. Of course, you could use a heat gun to lock in and make sure that it's dry enough on those corners. So this is the bokeh method. So if any of you were ever wondering what it is, it can be done with gelatos. And I was so excited to be able to figure this out. I can't even begin to tell you. Took a while to figure out how to make it work, just because of what kind of paper you should be using, and images, inks, but we've got it. Let's see, we'll do a couple more over here. And do it down here. So you can see the depth that that is making. And then people just come in and with one, make them brighter. Do a couple of odd shaped, not odd shaped, but oddly place it around. And then you have it. Now because this is white craft ink, you really should take a heat gun to it so that it'll dry before you start stamping or embellishing anything else on it. It does take some time to dry with the white craft ink, so using a heat gun on that would be recommended. You can wipe your stencil right off, keep that nice and clean, and you can always use it. So then once the heat gun is all set, you can stamp anything you want on it. I will be using Stays On ink. Excuse me for my reach. Stays On ink to put a sentiment on there. I will be matting it in purple and then adding it to my card. So that is the bouquet method. That is the bouquet method with using gelatos. There is some sparkle in it. I'm not sure if that's going to get picked up on the camera. But you can also go in with embellishments. A lot of people will use rhinestone stickers or glitter or anything else that you want. Just another circle just to add some depth and dimension. So once I finish this card and it's all dry, it will be the picture for this video. But I hope you enjoy this. Gelatos are a ton of fun. They bring a lot of color to a lot of projects. You can use them on watercolor paper and then punch out things, butterflies, and you can add them as embellishments to your card as well. You can do it with flowers, all sorts of great depth and dimension with colors that you can use. So next week we'll get more into details on that with stamping and coloring in images. And I will see you then. Thanks for checking in, and I will see you next week. Have a great day. Bye.